Hey there. Today I'll be talking about how the client-server model works. So, here are the three topics we're going to be covering in this video. So, the first one is what exactly is a client? What is a server? How does it work? How does it all fit together? And we're going to be looking at some examples to help you better understand how this model works. So first, you need to know what the web is. So the web is basically a place where computers can share data with each other. They can access data via a server, and basically you could think of the internet as a whole server. In order to go to a web page, you have to send a request, and then the server responds with the content you requested of that page. So basically everything in the internet is a server-client model, and we'll look more into this right now. So, what are clients? So, clients can be a machine or a computer, and they're usually what the user is. So, they can be computers, tablets, phones, other devices, and the machine or the client is the one that sends the request. Servers. What are servers? Servers they're not actually devices, but instead they're computer programs that serves the clients. What they do is they process the request from the client and serve it. And a server can serve multiple clients at the same time. So for example, if you wanted to do a web page, like if you wanted to represent this in a web page, let's say a user goes to google.com. So when a user goes there, then they're sending a request to Google's server that please load the web page for google.com. So our client or our computer sends a request to the server. And then the server, it processes that request. It sees that this client wants to see this web page. And then the server would respond to the client. And they would load the web page. It would load the web page. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah. So that's basically of how it connects. And it can be used on web pages. Basically everything on the web is a client-server model. Now, let's look at an example on how a multiplayer game would work. Let's look at this example here with a game. So, I'm going to show you an example of the client-server model with a multiplayer game. So here, I'm going to draw on the screen, and hopefully this will better help you understand how it works. So over here, we have our server. Now this server is going to be the game server, so the game developers built. And this can process requests from all the different clients connected to it. So as I said before, a client is basically your computer or whatever, or a user, what a user has, and they connect to the server. So let's say we have 4 players in our game. So this is player 1. They connect to this server. Player 2, player 3, and player 4. They are all connected to the server. So 4 clients are connected to the server, and these could be other computers or other players playing the game. So let's say you have this sort of screen over here, and then over here you have the world. And let's say what you can do is you can run around and you can see other players. So for example, I'm going to delete that. So let's say that this player, we'll call this player number 1, wants to move in the game. So without any server client communication, they will just move, their player will just move on their screen because it's just on their local machine, and there's no way of the server or the other clients or the other players in the game knowing that this player moved. So if you have no server client communication, that's what will happen. So in order to make that multiplayer, what you have to do is that this client has to send a request to the server. So it sends a request to the server saying that I have moved 1 pixels or whatever your unit of measurement is. So then this server will go back to the client, whatever the client requested, and it'll verify that this is true so that people can't hack. And then if it verifies that this is true, then what the server will do, it'll replicate that on all the other clients. So after that, it sends that info. It is verified that that's true. So then now the server will send that information to all the different other clients. So now, since that happened, now whenever the player will move, then everybody else will see it. Similarly, this can happen with all the other clients. So this is only configured for player number 1. Except all these other players can see where player 1 is moving, but then, for example, player 1 can't see where this guy's moving. So similarly, you'll do the same exact thing. Now, hopefully that makes sense. Now you might be wondering, why do we even need a server in the first place? Why can't we just make the clients all connect together? Like, for example, this client can send that, let's say this client moves, and it can send the information to this client, then to this client, and to this client. Why can't they do that? And the answer is very simple. It's mainly for security reasons. If a client just sends information to a client, then we have no way of verifying if that's true, and then it's very easy to hack. So basically, the request that the client sends could be something, the hacker could change it to like 10 pixels instead of 1 pixel, and then they could move 10 pixels on their screen because there's no verification. But with the server, you have the kind of like police guard thing handling everything else. So your game will be secure. So hopefully this video helped you understand how the client server model works.